Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here today. Today, we're diving deep into the connection between what you eat and how you feel. Specifically, we're tackling anxiety and how your diet might be playing a bigger role than you think. We all experience anxiety from time to time. It's a common feeling that can arise in various situations. It's a normal human emotion, but when anxiety starts to interfere with your daily life, it's time to take action. This is where understanding your diet comes in. Now you might not realize this, but what you're putting into your body can actually have a huge impact on your anxiety levels. The food you consume can either help you feel better or make things worse. Certain foods can trigger those racing thoughts, that feeling of unease and even panic attacks. It's surprising how much our diet can influence our mental state. The good news is that by making a few simple changes to your diet, you can regain control and start feeling calmer and more balanced. Small adjustments can lead to significant improvements. In this video, we're going to explore 5 common food culprits that might be secretly spiking your anxiety. These are everyday items you might not even think twice about. Stick around, because I'm going to give you the knowledge you need to make informed choices about your diet and your mental well-being. Together, we can take steps towards a healthier, happier you. Let's start with a big one. Caffeine. It's a topic that stirs up a lot of debate. We all love that morning cup of coffee or that afternoon tea pick-me-up, don't we? It's almost a ritual for many of us. But the truth is, caffeine is a stimulant, and it has a significant impact on our bodies. That's right, it actually speeds up your central nervous system, giving you that burst of energy. Now, in small amounts, caffeine can improve alertness and focus, making it easier to tackle tasks and stay productive. But when you start overdoing it, that's when anxiety can creep in, and things can get a bit tricky. Think about how you feel after 1 cup of coffee versus 3 or 4. There's a noticeable difference, isn't there? You might notice your heart starts racing, your hands get a little shaky, and you might even feel a bit jittery or on edge. These are common signs of too much caffeine. That's caffeine doing its thing, amplifying your body's natural responses. And here's the kicker. Caffeine can also interfere with your sleep, making it harder to wind down at night. We all know how important a good night's sleep is for managing anxiety. So if you're struggling to get those Z's, caffeine could be the culprit. Lack of sleep can exacerbate anxiety symptoms. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up caffeine completely. It's all about balance and moderation. Just be mindful of your intake. Check the caffeine content in your beverages and opt for caffeine-free options when possible. Listen to your body and pay attention to how caffeine affects you. Everyone's tolerance is different. If you notice it's making your anxiety worse, try cutting back gradually and see if you notice a difference. Your body will thank you for it. Next up, let's talk about sugar. Now, who doesn't love a little something sweet now and then? It's a universal craving, a little indulgence that brings joy. But the truth is, sugar can wreak havoc on your blood sugar levels. Those blood sugar spikes and crashes can actually trigger anxiety and even panic attacks, making you feel worse than before. Think about how you feel after you eat a big bowl of ice cream or a sugary donut. It's a moment of bliss, right? You might get that initial sugar rush, that feeling of euphoria, but then what goes up must come down, right? The high is short-lived. That's when the crash hits. Suddenly, you feel drained and low. You might feel shaky, irritable, and your anxiety levels might go through the roof. It's a roller coaster of emotions. And here's the thing, sugar can also mess with your sleep. It disrupts your natural rhythms. Just like caffeine, sugar can disrupt your sleep patterns, leaving you feeling exhausted and more vulnerable to anxiety the next day. It's a vicious cycle. So what's the takeaway here? Limit your sugar intake. It's easier said than done, but it's crucial. Opt for natural sugars found in fruits and vegetables. They provide a steady source of energy without the crash. And be mindful of hidden sugars in processed foods. They can sneak up on you. Your mind and body will thank you. A balanced diet leads to a balanced life. Chapter 3. Let's talk about alcohol. Now, you might think a glass of wine or a beer helps you relax after a long day, and it might seem like it does the trick initially. Alcohol is a depressant, which means it slows down your brain activity. That's why you might feel more relaxed and less inhibited after a drink or two. But here's the catch. As the alcohol wears off, it can actually make anxiety worse. You might experience what's called hangxiety. That feeling of anxiety and unease that can hit you the day after drinking. Alcohol can also interfere with your sleep, leaving you feeling groggy and more susceptible to anxiety the next day. So if you're struggling with anxiety, it's best to limit your alcohol intake or avoid it altogether. There are healthier ways to manage stress and unwind, like exercise, meditation, or spending time in nature. Chapter 4. Let's be honest, we live in a fast-paced world, and sometimes those processed foods are just too convenient to resist. But the truth is, those pre-packaged meals, chips, and sugary drinks are loaded with artificial ingredients, preservatives, and refined sugars, all of which can wreak havoc on your gut health. And here's the connection. Your gut health and your brain are closely linked. An imbalance in your gut bacteria can actually send signals to your brain that trigger anxiety and mood swings. Not only that, processed foods are often low in essential nutrients that are crucial for brain health, like omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, and B vitamins. So, what's the solution? Focus on eating whole, unprocessed foods as much as possible. Load up on fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. Your brain will thank you. Chapter 5. Now, you might think you're doing yourself a favor by swapping out sugary drinks for diet versions sweetened with artificial sweeteners. But here's the thing. Those artificial sweeteners might actually be doing more harm than good when it comes to anxiety. Research suggests that artificial sweeteners can disrupt the balance of bacteria in your gut, and remember, that gut-brain connection is key. When your gut bacteria is out of whack, it can send signals to your brain that trigger anxiety and even depression. Not only that, some people are particularly sensitive to artificial sweeteners and experience headaches, digestive issues, and even mood swings after consuming them. So, what's the bottom line? Be mindful of your intake of artificial sweeteners. Read food labels carefully and opt for natural sweeteners like stevia or honey in moderation. Outro, so there you have it, 5 common food culprits that might be secretly contributing to your anxiety. Remember, small changes can make a big difference. Start by gradually reducing your intake of these foods and see if you notice a positive shift in your anxiety levels. Of course, everyone is different, and what works for one person might not work for another. If you're struggling with anxiety, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you create a personalized plan that addresses your specific needs. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and hit that subscribe button for more health and wellness tips. Until next time, take care. Take